Hi there, RV and trailer owners. Today we're going to be taking a look at and showing you how to install Deka's 0 to 2 gauge battery cables for parallel circuits. These cables come available in either a black sheathing or a red sheathing, depending if you're using it for a negative parallel connection or for your positive parallel connection. They are designed for parallel circuits, so they are designed to hook negative to negative for the black one and positive to positive for the red one to add the capacity of your batteries together. So these are really mainly for 12-volt batteries. If you have 6-volt batteries, you would connect those in a series circuit and potentially a series parallel depending on how many of those batteries you have. We do have series cables available here at etrailer, and it really just depends on your battery. These cables could potentially be utilized in that situation if you needed to, but you would require a top post like this. The other issue you run into is the length of batteries. With series, you can see that our posts are next to each other, which makes these the perfect length. With a series connection, these will likely not reach from negative to positive in a lot of situations. It really depends on how you've got your batteries oriented. Another thing I want to point out is that if you're going with a parallel connection, if you are using a top post style, your negative posts are slightly smaller than your positive posts. So those top post ones, you do need to pay attention to those. I like that these have just a connection so we can connect to a screw top. That makes it a lot easier. You don't have to worry about whether or not these cables are going to fit like a top post style. I do like that it does come provided with top post attachments though, so that way if you do have that style in your trailer, you could utilize it. And you can see here that the negative one, which is down below, is slightly smaller than the positive one that came with our positive cables, so that way they're going to be the correct size. Because if you try to put a positive clamp on one of the negative ones, oftentimes you tighten it down really far and it's still a little bit loose, and you can end up damaging the cable by over tightening it. And it's the exact opposite. If you try to put a negative on one of the larger top posts, you end up spreading it out, and then when you go to tighten it down, it often damages and deforms the metal to where it could potentially break. So having the right cable is going to ensure that your trailer is going to have a proper connection that's going to last a long time. It's going to be solid and delivers all the power that you have potentially coming out of your batteries. We'll begin our installation by first locating our batteries. Oftentimes in your trailers, they're going to be located in your front compartment. Ours were located right here in the front compartment. We did have to take the lid off of them because it had a lid that covered them up. Many trailers have that. You just take the screws out and the lid pops off. You can see our old lid here. It had about 4 screws that held it on. Sometimes you may have battery cables that are connected to the posts here. You want to make sure you disconnect those, or you can just set the lid off to the side if the cables are long enough to be out of your way. Our customer didn't have these hooked up. So now that we've got access to the batteries, we can go ahead and remove the old battery cables. These cables are designed to hook batteries in parallel. So these batteries are already hooked into parallel, but we can see these are smaller battery cables. We're going to be putting on some heavier duty ones. So we'll use a 9/16 or 14 millimeter. The size is going to vary depending on your batteries. To remove our posts, we're going to remove the ground first. And we're removing the ground that's actually connected to the trailer first. This is the wire that's going off to the trailer. So we're just going to pull that guy off, pull this one off. And then we can go ahead and we're going to remove the positive now to our trailer. So pull that off, set that guy aside. We'll disconnect our positive cable from our trailer. So now we're fully disconnected from the trailer, but we need to get these posts out, or these cables out of the way. So we'll go ahead and remove those now as well. So now we can go ahead and install our new cables. We'll start with the positive cable. We're going to slide it over, and I'm putting the cable towards the inside, kind of towards the middle of the batteries. And you can see that there are a perfect length for 2 side-by-side batteries like this. They're about 7 inches in length. Now you do get new hardware included with your cables. However, they may or may not fit on your battery. It just depends on the size. The ones that come included with it are going to be too large. So we're going to use the ones that we had previously removed to attach the cables. We're just going to put the nut on there, get it started, and then we'll get the nut on the other side started. We'll then do the same thing with our negative cable. And again, we're going to use the hardware that we had removed, since the hardware that comes with the cable is a little bit too large. And you'll notice that I didn't connect the trailer cables back up to the battery posts like they were previously. So we'll go ahead and snug these down. And then you can see that there's posts here at the top. Now you do have a couple of options, depending on how you're connecting your trailer to your battery, whether you're using a top post like this. This will actually thread on here, and you could attach to it, or the nuts that come included with the kit could also be used. It just really depends on which one's best for your particular setup. Sometimes the top post might be just a little bit too long for your battery compartment. You can see here it does stick up quite a bit higher than the previous cable that we had on there. So it just depends on which one's best, but it's nice that it has this option. It gives you a much cleaner look because we're connecting our batteries together, and then we've got posts there that we can easily attach our trailer to. So we're just going to go ahead and take our cables then from our trailer. We're going to slide them on. We're going to go ahead and use one of the nuts instead of the top posts, just because of the top of our battery box. I do believe it is tall enough, but we don't want to have a clearance issue. And then our negative cable, bring over to this post. And as soon as we plug it up, you can see things are starting to come alive on our trailer. We'll go ahead and tighten them down. They are going to be a 9/16 for the nuts that come included with the cables. And that's basically it. We've now got our connections made, and you can see it's a much cleaner connection than we had before. And the large gauge of our wire here is going to ensure that we're going to be able to get the most amperage out of our batteries as necessary under the various loads that we may have. Using a thinner cable sometimes can limit the output, depending on whatever the cable is potentially rated for. So having this larger one here is going to ensure that we are going to maximize the potential that our batteries have. And that completes our look at Deka's 0 to 2 gauge battery cables for parallel circuits.